So I really enjoyed Poison River. I read the preview copy. And one of the things that I really liked about it was the dialogue. The story has a lot of snappy comebacks that are just a delight to read. And I want to know how you pull it off. How do you get in your groove for writing dialogue?
It's generally a combination of things. I tend to listen to a lot of radio plays, especially stuff from the 30s and 40s. I watch a lot of shows, certain types of shows. So I'll watch Midsummer Murders and that kind of stuff, which all have good dialogue, because every episode is built on the characters because they've been running for so long. It's not like the plot's going to surprise you. It has to be the character work. But I'll watch stuff like The West Wing or Gilmore Girls. And yeah, I watch Gilmore Girls. Go ahead, laugh. But, that kind of snappy banter, the quick dialogue, movies like the Thin Man movies with William Powell and Myrna Loy are my favorites for getting me in that kind of mood of characters just shooting back and forth. And also reading books for the periods I'm trying to emulate. The books from the 20s, books from the 30s, you've got your Evelyn Waugh, P.G. Wodehouse, that kind of stuff, and all that banter is in those books. All that kind of wordplay and the rhythm of a conversation between two characters and the ups and the downs and how they will speak to each other in a given situation and kind of keeping that through line. So all of the conversations seem to flow into one longer conversation.
Well, I think you did a great job with it. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep. Given all of this writing advice, we had read You're Fond of Georgette Heyer. Want to give a shout out to her or any other mystery readers we should go read?
Georgette Heyer is not strictly a mystery writer. She is actually a romance writer who happened to write mysteries as well. I read her because romance novels actually tend to have a lot of really good character interaction and dialogue. Yeah, because they're driven by character interaction. So I tend to read. I read Georgette Heyer. I've read Nora Roberts and all that kind of stuff. I don't devour it, but I'm not going to turn my nose up at a Nora Roberts. There's a reason she's rich. But yeah, mystery writers, Georgette Heyer has written some mysteries. They're all very good. Dorothy L. Sayers for the Peter Wimsey novels, and just her non-Peter Wimsey mysteries are all very well put together. But she has a very clear grasp of the language and character of the time she's writing in, which is the 20s, 30s. So you can really feel a sense of place. In contrast, Agatha Christie's stories are actually quite weightless in that regard, which is why they're timeless stories, because she doesn't burden the stories. What Agatha Christie does is she developed a story engine for giving you a mystery, and she sticks to it, and it's like clockwork, and it's a beautiful thing to read an Agatha Christie story and go, I have seen how this works, but it is wonderful to watch the gears of this woman's mind click as she lays down the plot. If you want to learn how to write a mystery, you read an Agatha Christie, because it's all in there. Arthur Conan Doyle, obviously, because everybody likes Sherlock Holmes. Even if they say they don't like Sherlock Holmes, they're lying. They like Sherlock Holmes. More modern stuff, series by Christopher Fowler, which is Bryant and May, which are weirdly British Gothic mystery stories. They're very Midsummer Murderers-y with secret cults in the drawing room and all that kind of stuff. But fun stuff. I like John Sanford, who's a procedural writer, but his stuff is not intricate, but the character work makes, because you know who the criminal is, who the police are, and you're just waiting to see how they collide. Stuff like Ed McBain with the, 87th Precinct, I think, which is basically a long-form television show, basically a novel series of like 30 books, and it's all about this one police precinct in an unnamed city. And it's basically he's writing a television show, because every book, the subplots move forward a little bit, characters die, characters fall in and out, characters get wounded, and 2 books later they're still in the hospital because the books move at real time. Uh-huh. And it's fascinating to just read 3 or 4 of those in a row. Stuff like Carl Hyacin, with the Florida novels. Oh, geez, those are fun to tear into. Yeah, I've got so many suggestions. Yeah. I could go on for hours. Sorry.
No, it's okay. For me, my favorite are The Brother Cafell by Peters.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, God. I just started rereading those. I started rereading those a couple months ago, along with the Tony Hillerman stuff.
Good stuff, especially when you're talking about non-modern technology and stuff like L5R world.
Yeah. And that's, actually, Catfall is actually quite close to, come to think of it, that is quite close to what Poison River is, really.
Right.
Do you have any advice for other writers out there if they're thinking about mystery writing?
Mystery writing, specifically, what I would suggest is that they read a lot of mysteries. Watch a lot of mystery TV shows, watch the procedurals, watch the more unique television shows like, The Wire, watch Luther, watch and read a variety of things and figure out what sort of mystery you want to write. And then figure out what you like about the mystery that you want to write. Basically, take it apart. It's how I learned to put together a car engine when I was a kid, was you took a car engine apart and you put it back together. Back when, you could do that and have a car that ran. But you take it apart, you disassemble it into the components, you figure out what you like. Why do you like this character? What does this character do in the book? What's happening in this plot that you like? Is the plot complicated or is it actually simple? What makes the book feel complicated? Is it the characters all doing stuff, or is it just the character personalities? You figure out all that, and by the time you're done thinking about it that way, you'll have a good grip. I would also give this bit of advice, which is figure out who did it, why they did it, and how they did it before you start writing. Because if you do not, you will end up having to rewrite the book 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
When I was writing Poison River, I had it figured out, and then about halfway through it changed. So I went back and had to tear the book apart from the get-go. And thankfully my editors were I still got it done in time, so they were happy with me, but they actually did allow me. They said, if you need a couple more months, it's fine, which is very nice of them. Because I sent an email off to my editor going, I just had a better idea, so I'm going to rewrite this book, including the 50,000 words I already sent you, because sometimes you just have to tear something apart and rebuild it. And that's actually a thing, I would say. Is another thing writers shouldn't be afraid of. Sometimes ideas don't work. That's not a failing. That happens to everybody. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad if you're halfway through a story and it's just not working. It just happens. Just deal with it. If you've got a deadline, figure out something that works and go with it. But if it's just something you're writing for pleasure or because you want to writing for NaNoWriMo or something, don't feel bad about it. It happens. Throw it in a junk drawer, get back to it in 2 or 3 years. You might come up with an idea for how to fix it.